Student can make big difference if you give them the opportunity at the right time, and you also can give them these opportunity from any source, from anywhere. As everyone is aware, nowadays we are under some threat, and we are not in a position to go out openly, and we can't bring our student in that space the where it can and it become more disastrous and catastrophic to other. So the staying back at our home, that we can do some creative and we can do some innovative work. So is the effort here. See.
I am Pari, studying in class +1 in Government Girls Senior Secondary School, Portmore, Shimla.
Hi everyone, this is AARAISH, student of Government Senior Secondary School, Portmore.
So, myself HARSHEETA from +1 class art stream. I read in Government Senior Secondary School, Portmore, Shimla.
My name is GEETANJALI and I am a student of class 11 from non-medical stream. Today I am going to give you answer of a question from the chapter A Portrait of a Lady written by KHUSHWANT. So the question is, what was the turning point in their friendship and what was the changes her grandson saw?
Hey, I'm Sakshi Vidushi, student of 11th class in Government Girls Senior Secondary School, Portmore.
Hello everyone, I am VANSHIKA and I read in +1 class and my school name is Government Senior Secondary School, Portmore. And my question is, why author grandmother was disturbed and how she spent her time in city and why she was unhappy with the education of grandson.
Hello everyone, I am Vidushi, student of 11th class of Portmore School, Shimla. Today I am going to discuss some questions with you of chapter 1st, Portrait of the Lady. So the question is, mention the different ways in which sparrows express their sorrow when author's grandmother was died. So
here in this chapter, old lady refers to the grandmother of KHUSHWANT Singh, who is the writer of the chapter, The Portrait of a Lady. His grandmother was an old lady like everybody else's grandmother. Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles which ran from everywhere to everywhere. It looked like she had stayed at the same age for about 20 years. She was short, fat and slightly bent. She always hobbled about the house in spotless white, with one hand on her waist to balance her stoop and the other hand telling the beads of her rosary. Her silver locks were scattered untidily on her pale, puckered face,
Today I am going to discuss the role and routine of grandmother. Grandmother played a vital role in author's life. Author and grandmother were very good friends. Grandmother even helped author in his studies. Grandmother had a fixed routine for every day. She would wake author in the morning, she would bath and dress him for school, she would give him breakfast, and then she would accompany him to school. In the meantime, she would read scriptures in the village temple and then walk back with author after school. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
Today I am going to discuss a question with you. So my question is, how do you think the author grandmother is a religious lady? And the answer, the author grandmother is a religious lady due to the following reason. Number 1, she always recites a religious prayer. Number 2, she accomplished the author to go to temple to read religious book. Number 3, at the end, she didn't talk to anyone. She recites her religious prayer and did not give any attention what others say. She only gave all the time and attention to the God. Thank you.
Today I'm going to discuss with you a question. So my question is, how can we describe that the grandmother was strong in her character? So my answer is, the author's grandmother was really a woman of strong character. At no time she does show any weakness. All her life she lives in her own way. She is deeply religious. She spends all her time praying and telling her beads. Her routine does not even change when she was in the city. Only she takes feeding sparrow in the place of village dogs. We see the strength of her character when the author leaves for abroad. She is already quite old and author is to be away for 5 years. Anything could happen during a long period, yet she is not sentimental at all. She keeps praying and telling her pets, even while seeing him off at the station. Thus, we can see the grandmother was really a woman of strong character. Thank you.
And my answer is the author grandmother was very disturbed when he started going to the city school because she could not help with the lesson of English and no teaching of God and scripture. This made grandmother unhappy. Author grandmother spent her days after he grew up are by spinning wheels, reciting prayers and feeding of sparrows. Thank you everyone.
Firstly, the sparrows and the grandmother developed an intimate relationship with each other. The grandmother used to feed the sparrows every day in the morning, so they developed an intimate relationship with each other. When the author's grandmother was died, thousands of sparrows expressed their sorrow by sitting silently in their veranda in the morning while the grandmother's dead body was laid there. The author's mother threw some pieces of bread for them, but they don't eat them. When they carried the corpse of grandmother, they flew away quietly. Thus, in this way, lots of sparrows expressed their sorrow in this unique manner and paid a unique and silent tribute to grandmother. Thank you.
Let's discuss the friendship of author and grandmother when they were in village. When author and grandmother were in village, they were like best friends. There was emblem of love and their bonding was outstanding. From morning till night, they spent both of their time together and grandmother would do many things for author. She would also accompany him to his school and even helped author in his studies. She would glad to know about author's day spent in school. She would also cook food for author. She would get him ready for school and even packed author's bag. On their way to school, they both would give some stale chapatis to village dogs. In short, we can say that they spent a gala time in village. But when author and grandmother shifted to city, the common link of their friendship was snapped. Thank you so much.
I know you like this video. After watching this video, many girls may be thinking that we also should make that videos. Or maybe ऐसी video बनानी है, we also want to make that. And we also want to do such experiment. Of course you should do. But to see how all the girls have done their job and how perfectly and excellently explain each and everything to us. They made it clear to all that what is there in the lesson. As you everyone knew that this is the lesson about a grandmother and relationship with grandson. Here KHUSHWANT is representing his grandmother. KHUSHWANT is the great literary the figure of this country, and although he is no more now and he died in 2014. Right, so here I would like to let you know that how he represents his grandmother here, that she was so old and so old that none other can be there like that. And as far as concerned about the grandmother, उनके बारे में तो मत ही बोलिए कुछ, because he obviously the man like who could have only grandson ही जिनके हो सकते थे, grandchildren ही उनके हो सकते थे. And here the grandmother and author used to live in the village, where they share the common room. They had a great relationship with each other. How they get him ready and get accompany to the school, and then return. When they return, they fed the dogs, and after some time they moved to the city, and where author had his own room, and the common friendship snapped for some time, actually for a long time then. And she was not satisfied with the kind of education he was receiving, and she was not happy and not satisfied with the singing, kind of एक तरह का वो, वहाँ पे जो education मिल रही थी. And she said that it is associated with the lewd and it associated with the prostitute, and this kind of education doesn't deserve to a gentlefolk like you. Right? She was lonely. Not only that, but after some time, author had his own room, अपना room था, so there was so less, for sharing with each other. She was so strong, but actually she was very religious. In any circumstances, she stayed cool, composed. She didn't express his loneliness and agony to anyone. She fed the sparrow, and the happiest जो उनका time होता था दिन के time में, that was half hour when she used to feed the sparrow at that time. And after then, what happened that he has to move to abroad for 5 years, and she was there at railway stations to उसको बाय बाय करने के लिए, टाटा करने के लिए वहां आ जाती है. And author was upset with this idea that no one can say about her age, because she was so old. Anything can be happen. But after 5 years, when author returned, she was as were 5 years before. And that night and that evening, the day he returned, he saw something different in her. In his life, he saw her first time when she was not doing any prayer, she was not counting any rosary, because at the arrival of her warrior grandson, she collected some women from the neighborhood and started singing and dancing with old dilapidated drum. She waited it hard, जोर से उसको बजाया, and that very evening she fell ill, and the same night she मर जाती है. And as customary, they did all that they can do. At this circumstances and at that particular time, very next day, she used to feed the sparrow, and all those sparrow come at the veranda and all over the yard, and they show their grief. No sparrows and no birds were chirping at that time, because they were feeling so sorry for the grandmother here, because she was really the face and the character who was so composed, calm, cool. She never make any kind of complaints to anything. She was really very strong in character. She was very religious. She was disturbed a bit for some time, but anyhow she managed all. And after some time, they lift up that corpus and that dead body, and having removed the body from the courtyard and the yard, all the sparrow flew away silently without making any noise. Although grandson's mother threw some bread to them the way grandmother used to do, but it was all futile. लेकिन ये सारा कुछ futile था, because no sparrow, no words, they gave hate word. किसी ने देखा तक नहीं use किया. The very next day the sweeper came and swept into the dustbin. That was the lesson number 1, Portrait of a Lady, written by KHUSHWANT. I hope you have enjoyed. So